Back here on U.S. soil, protesters gathered on Wall Street, which is, of course, the heart of the economy. Labor groups and anarchists say corporate greed is to blame for this money mess our country is in. And people affiliated with those same groups are planning similar protests in Orlando. A faction called Occupy Orlando met tonight in downtown to discuss an upcoming big rally. Our Tracy Jason was there for that event. She joins us live from the Wall Street Plaza downtown. Tracy, what are these protesters planning on doing? What are they saying they're going to do here?
Well, first of all, tonight, Sunny, they're not calling it a protest. They're calling it an organizational meeting, and they assembled peacefully here right in the plaza of the History Center. It just wrapped up about 15 minutes ago, and they say they're aligned with the group in New York in this way. They want their voice heard, they want change, and they want to fight back against what they call corporate greed.
Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
Until we find a way to make sure that our voices are heard in a fair and equal way, to represent us, the many, instead of them, the few, we're not getting a step closer to anything.
This man is Reverend Fox, spelled Faux, F-A-U-X. He's not the leader. There are none here, I'm told. What's your real name?
Can't give you.
Okay. Are you a reverend?
I am a legally ordained minister in the Church of the Subgenius.
Of the what?
We are pretty much a club for non-joiners.
Yet Reverend Fox is happy to join this cause, an attempt to rally the masses in Orlando, like Occupy Wall Street has in New York over the past week. This occupation will take place in Orlando on October 15th. Unlike in New York, where a list of demands has been circulating the internet, things like forgiving all personal and world debt, a $22 an hour minimum wage, free college tuition for all, open borders migration. This group has yet to conceive their list. So the solidarity is the fight for change, not necessarily the specific demands.
We are the 99%. That is the solidarity, the 99% of us who are tired of the 1% dictating our lives.
I have seen more and more young, capable, educated Americans coming to me for jobs, and I don't have the capability to hire them because of the situation that I've developed in this country.
All right, now again, this assembly actually started at 7 p.m., just wrapped up about 15 minutes ago. At one point, the crowd even broke into John Lennon's Power to the People. There were actually a lot of pretty powerful speeches, but I can tell you this was just a warm-up. The main event, October 15th, and organizers here are urging participants to partake peacefully. In downtown Orlando, Tracy Jason, back to you.
Tracy, thanks. Now, earlier tonight, I got our Power Panel's take on these protests and their interesting list of demands. Here is Gary Kaufbaum again, along with activist Susannah Randolph. I want to run down some of the list of the demands of Occupy Now. All right, these are just some. Raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour, universal health care, free college education, $1 trillion in infrastructure spending, and in some cases they're asking for complete debt forgiveness. Gary, what?
Free tickets to Disney, free tickets to SeaWorld. Look, I don't believe this is representative of any group. I think somebody got in there, got it to the media. Look, let's just talk about one thing and one thing only. Let's forgive all debt. Let's put every card dealership out of business, every bank, every lender. Let's put your bookie out of business and everybody else and just destroy the country. I love debating good ideas. There is not a good idea in here. This is basically a destruction of the whole system, and it'll go in by the wayside. The good news is this will be laughed at very quickly.
Susannah, what do you think of this list of demands?
Well, I agree. Forgiveness of all debt is ridiculous, and it was just as ridiculous when we called it TARP and forgave all debt and all financial commitments of banks on Wall Street. And I think what you're seeing is the outrage and upswell of the middle class who has been treated very poorly by Wall Street. And some of the demands include reinstating the Glass-Steagall Act, which was the thing that in the first place allowed banks to go out there and wager on things like credit default swaps, derivatives, and also engage in predatory lending. So the reinstatement of something like that is actually very, very reasonable.
Because Gary, she brings up a good point. I mean, people feel fed up. Maybe they're going to make crazy and outrageous demands just to sort of make a point, right?
This woman should be at these protests because now you got it right. Glass-Steagall was to get rid of it was bad. It let banks do crazy things. There are a lot of crooks on Wall Street that should have gone to jail. A lot of bad things have been have done. They almost brought down the whole system in 2008. Protests are good, but they should have a basis in fact, not just to destroy the world. So I agree with her at 100%.
All right. We like to see when you guys get along. That is rare. Susannah, I want to read you a very interesting thought. This was from actually a CBS News article. They said, quote, once liberals stopped and took a long look at the motley protesters with their signs, they began to see something they envied. The Tea Party. Is this the left's version of that movement? It sure has got a lot of passion behind it.
No, actually, I think it's more widespread than that. I think you've got some folks who even were a part of the Tea Party movement who are just fed up with the way that Wall Street has treated people in this country. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see Wall Street banks and the politicians that they fund focus on some of the crazy, more right-wing or more, you know, extremist things that are being said, but they're going to ignore the things like the reinstatement of the Glass-Steagall Act, because Wall Street does not want that. And the fact that thousands of people are taking over Wall Street to demand better treatment of middle-class Americans, they're going to try to marginalize that and call that crazy. But bottom line is, at the end of the day, the folks who are out there are making demands that are very reasonable, and we need to fix this country. Something is very broken, and if Wall Street needs a wake-up call like this in order to get our country back on track, then I think the alarm is sounding.
Everything except for the forgiveness of all debts, which could be a little tricky. We're out of time, guys. Susannah Randolph and Gary Koppelbaum, thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Son.